Welcome back to this episode of Rad BMX Builds. Today, we've been doing videos every day. So today, it's gonna be more of a vlog style video here in my shop. Might do some running around later, so we'll see about that. But a couple things going on here at Rad BMX Builds. I have a few bikes that I haven't built yet that I wanna share with you. Might build one of them today, maybe both, but I'm waiting on parts for both of these bikes. First one I wanna share with you, the 89 GT Mach 1. I'm waiting on blue tires to complete this build. What I typically like to do is buy everything, lay it all out, and then build the bike. That might not be the case today if the UPS or FedEx driver doesn't bring me what I need to complete that build. We might have to build it with black tires, but just know they'll be swapped out with blue later. I also have in the box a 26-inch blue OM Flyer. I built one of these bikes for Bike List, and we ended up selling it. But man, I loved that bike so much that when they went on sale during the Cyber Monday sale, I bought one for myself. And I'm gonna build it almost exactly like that Bike List bike. And you know, if I have a blue SE bike, I'm gonna add gold to it. So I'm gonna be taking off a lot of the black and silver components from that bike, and I'm gonna be putting gold parts and components. What am I waiting on with that bike? The wheels, of course. We're using 26-inch gold Haro wheels with high flange sealed bearing hubs. Now, this is my fault. I thought I ordered those wheels and I was waiting, and they never showed up. So I went back into my emails, looked at my purchase history at the place I bought them from, which was Planet BMX, and evidently I never did. So maybe I'm getting old, maybe I'm losing my mind, maybe I buy too much parts. I have no idea. Whatever the case is, I finally bought them. They have been shipped. I just don't know when they're gonna be here. So let's get busy. I'm gonna talk about the shop a little bit, and then we'll get busy building. Okay, I wanna give you a little tour of the shop, and then I'm gonna talk about what we have planned for it. I really don't give tours of the shop where I work, but I figured, you know what, maybe you wanna know. So let's take a look. What I have is wheels up here. These are to my Zeus, and that Zeus is off getting some custom frame stuff done. These are 24-inch Skyways with tires that are a takeoff of a build I did. Don't know what I'm gonna do with them. Here's some tires, GTs, and then here's some Comp 3 style. Then I got some Monza seats. Huge shout out to Monza for getting with Alina and making some really sick seats. If you're looking for one of these seats, they come in these 3 colors, and the quality is amazing. They're only $89 at their website. Now this is one of the builds that I'm going to be doing. This is an 89 GT Mach 1. It's gonna have my dyno plate. Those are 4-piece GT bars, brakes, brake cable, new decals back there, sealed bearing high flange hubs on the wheels, blue and chrome chain, blue checkered seat post clamp redone, chain ring, blue chain ring bolts, power disc, blue dyno dice. These forks are sick with the baloney cut down there with the GT stamping. There's just a bunch of stuff I have laying around in here. I have quite the collection of old school decks. Most of them are in storage. I probably have about 20, 25 of them. I might bring those and just do a whole display along this wall. My Damien Fulton painting that he did for me here in my living room, which was really cool. Signed it. Thank you, Damien, for doing this. This picture means a whole lot to me. I need to hang it up somewhere here in the shop. Yesterday, these came in. They are GT bottom bracket, GT 3-piece cranks. And you know these cranks come with the black decal. Had some blue ones made, and I'm gonna lay them over the top of the black and just offset a little to give it that 3-dimensional look. And those are gonna go on the Mach 1. Behind that are some handlebars that I'm gonna be using on a new build. This is a 26-inch SE OM Flyer build that we talked about. Gonna be getting a lot of the blue parts, the new Flight splatter paint pads, which I love. Velo seat, Mission grips, all in the baby blue and gold. So that bike might be coming out of the box today. And I know you want to talk about bikes, right? Like I got some bikes in here, so let's talk about that. This is a 26-inch Race Inc. with all Cook Brothers racing components. Cook Brothers headset, Cook Brothers brake lever, which we talked about in depth. Not out yet, Cook Brothers 3-piece cranks, which you can't get, but I have them on this bike. They gave out a few sets to content creators, and I got one of them. Cook Brothers seat post And then I have a lot of night bike components all polished on this bike. So the seat post clamp, the night bike chainring power disc down there, and then the night bike polished stem. Now this is my baby, my daily pretty much. This is a 26-inch Racing Botima forks, profile racing hubs, blue wheels, blue everything on this bike, blue Cook Brothers headset, blue roughneck from Night Bike. Oh, Cook Brothers stem bolt, which is super rad. I powder coated the Redline 3-piece cranks, Night Bike UFO bottom bracket, Night Bike Starfighter sprocket, Night Bike seat post clamp. Cool bike. I love riding this bike. Oh, big shout out to Rad BMX back there for the chain tensioners. And then we got this guy. And we got the Kuwahara 40th anniversary bike. You've probably seen a lot of these in the YouTube videos if you're following along. And then the Malibu Mint Mongoose M1. I did not build this bike. It was built by the 80s Garage. And I asked if he was willing to sell it. We negotiated a price that we both really were happy with. And here it is in my collection. So big shout out to him for building such a rad bike. Then this one. This bike is sick. This is a Schwinn Predator Freeform Z. ODI mushroom bearing cap. Arreo wheels. Original Dominator seat. ACS rotor. ACS stem. Mushroom grips. MX levers. Yo front brake, Kenda tires, white hubs and spokes. You see the original decal and stamping. I'm going to Vegas after Christmas and giving this bike to a friend of mine because he had one like it in high school. The new edition 90 Dyno Detour, completely OG. Haven't touched a thing on this yet. Added a few things like, you know, some donuts on the grips. I did add a green bearing cap to match the green in the logo. I've had that bearing cap forever, never thought it'd match a bike, but then this bike came along. So bike's in excellent shape. My 83 PK Ripper. Love this bike. You've seen it a million times. It's not going anywhere. But I just added its stepbrother here, the blue and gold quad angle. Still waiting on some components for this. Waiting on a gold brake lever. Waiting on a gold seat post clamp. And then this gorgeous thing. This is an 85 Redline 500B. Added the big fat Flight donuts to it in red to bring out the red in the logo. The blue in the logo matches the Tioga power disc, the sticker on the Redline Flight cranks, valve stem caps. These pads are just so sick. Huge shout out to Aaron at Flight for making such a sick product. So there you got it. That's the current lineup in my shop here in Newport Beach. Okay, there's still another bike in the collection here that I don't talk about a lot, but I should. This is a Zeus electric bike. I've added some SE Bozak tires, an MCS chainring, GT pedals, a GT mallet stem, GT Performer bars, and Amy grips. Got a little phone holder and a little bell for the bike trail and people don't get out of your way. But I did this in a neon yellow powder coat, and then I applied the splatter paint. I think it came out really cool. Looks like I applied some splattered dirt also. Need to clean this up, but I ride this all the time. These are an absolute blast to ride, and if you're interested, there's a link in my bio or in the description of this video, and you can get $150 off using discount code RADBMXBUILDS. Save you 150 bucks. They come in 3 different sizes of motor, the 250, the 750, and the 1100. And yes, you can jump it, you can wheelie it. It's basically a BMX bike with a motor. What can go wrong, right? Okay, let's talk about some of the updates that I want to do in this shop. First things first, I think I'm gonna take all this down off there, paint the back wall, and put all my skateboard decks up for display. I think that'll be a cool look back there. The overhead storage, I just gotta leave there because I use it quite a lot, so we're not gonna change that at all. However, over here, I have a little workbench storage thing. I'm gonna go crazy with white pegboard. This wall, this entire wall, the front part of that, that's gonna be white pegboard. And then underneath the shelving is going to be all white pegboard for tools. This white pegboard on here will be for display of parts like pads and bars and seats, things of that nature. It'll look a lot better for display. It'll be easier for me to find and use parts for builds. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I need to get over to Home Depot, buy a whole bunch of pegboard. So you can see currently, all my parts are in these bins. I just need to do better with that. Eventually, I'm gonna work on getting all of this a lot more organized because that's just not how I like it. I need stuff to be a lot more organized in my workspace to be effective, and that's just not cutting it for me. But now that I have a lot more room, I ripped out a bunch of shelving that were here and it came out several feet. And now that that's gone, I can put the bikes in there. So the ultimate goal here, be able to get all of my bikes from Arizona over here and have all of them lined up right here in the shop. All right, let's dive into putting the decals on these cranks. These are brand new Repop GT Power Series. I'm not trying to pretend they're old originals. And they come with a printed on, kind of painted logo. But I had these stickers made. I have them in tons of colors, honestly. I have lots of them, pink and blue, but this bike's gonna be kind of chrome and blue and black. So I'm gonna show you how I lay this over the top of the original one, so you can see it give that three-dimensional or shaded background to it. Okay, as you can see now, with the blue applied over the black, it gives it a three-dimensional look, like it's got some shadowing behind it. And I just think that that is a really cool custom touch. I'm gonna do this other one off camera because it was really hard to do the camera and do that at the same time, but it came out really good. I think it's gonna look really killer on that Mach 1 build. Before I apply the decals and start to build this bike, I'm gonna wanna clean it up, and I use Turtle Wax Chrome Polish. That's gonna get all the debris and junk and dirt and grime off of that frame. Then I'll spray it down with Windex and wipe it with a microfiber towel so it's basically spotless. Then we're gonna put some decals on and then start the build. But before I do any of that, let's go over to the beach, check the waves, go out to the pier, clear my mind a little bit, then come back and get to work. The best way to do that, to go check the surf, is to jump on my Zeus. So we got the Zeus electric bike. And we try to get across the street without getting hit by a car. And then your Rad BMX Builds hat blows off. Not off to a good start. And then we're at the beach. Hitting up the beach trail, a little cool out. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, but it's not terrible. Not a lot of people out today. We're gonna ride up onto the Balboa Pier and check that out. Okay, running into a little problem with the Mach 1 build. It's not just the blue tires that haven't arrived. The stem hasn't arrived. It's supposed to be delivered today, and now it's looking like tomorrow. What we're gonna do is dig into my stems and use a temporary stem until the GT mallet in black shows up, which is the proper stem for this bike. I want you to know that this bike will end up with a black GT mallet stem, and blue Comp 3 tires. I want you to know that as the build goes on today, because when I'm finished with this today, it's not gonna have those parts on it. But when you're done watching this video, you'll see this bike pop up on Instagram. If you're not following my Instagram, get over there, rad_BMX_builds. And I will post daily posts on there. So that's your best source for up to date what's happening here at Rad BMX Builds. It'll be a while probably before this bike ends up in another YouTube video. So if you want to see the finished product, make sure you follow me on Instagram. All right, let's dig into my box of stems and pull out a temporary fill for my problem. Okay, this is my box of stems. I do have, it's a newer school GT stem in black. Maybe I'll put that on there. A knockoff Sun Tour black stem. Like I said, I have the Dyno stem. Definitely needs some cleanup and polishing, but cool stem. That's threadless. I think that's too fat. That's a 22.2. And I also have a black GT Performer stem that I could drop in there for now. There's a white Performer stem. ACS rotor on a stem. Okay, so what I decided to use the temporary filler is this black, brand new Sun Tour knockoff, because I just want to see the balance of the black hubs, black chainring, black pedals, black seat post clamp, black brakes. So I had a couple to choose from, and I think I'm just gonna throw this one on there until my mallet arrives. So don't yell at me, don't get mad, it's only temporary, and then it's coming off when the mallet gets here. Okay, the polishing is done. I just used the Turtle Wax chrome polish, and man, the chrome on this is very, very, very nice. Couldn't be happier with it. Now we're gonna go ahead and get some decals and put those on and show you what those are gonna look like. It's a work in progress, and I think it's coming along pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I just really been taking my time today, taking care of some other things on the side. Something that happened, I got a phone call just a little bit ago from Damien Fulton, and I cannot let the cat out of the bag quite yet. But Damien Fulton, the artist of Radical Rick, called me, and as you may or may not know, Haro just recently made a Radical Rick tribute bicycle. I believe it comes in a 29, 26, and 24 inch. So Damien and I were talking about that bike and maybe some possible collaboration in the future. I will be giving updates as I can about that in the future. So if that's something that interests you, Rad BMX Builds and Radical Rick collaboration, let me know in the comments down below, because I think that would just be so rad, and what an opportunity to do something like that. So yeah, big plans. If this turns into something, could be a lot of fun. Great for content, great for you, great for me. Just a real positive, awesome possibility coming up. Anyway, I'm gonna keep working on this Mach 1 for you so you can see what it looks like mocked up, pun intended, before the end of this video. So let me get back to work and I'll give you an update in a minute. Okay, full disclosure here, I'm not gonna pretend everything goes smooth all the time. This bike actually has been giving me some issues putting it together. Another one of those issues I wanna share with you, and that is GTs sometimes require an axle, a front axle, that has a smooth or flat surface on two sides of it in order to slide it up through the forks. Then they require a spacer. I have the spacers, but I don't have the axle. I have an extra axle and it's another round one, so I'm gonna have to order an axle for this bike. Okay, so I'm gonna share with you what I'm talking about and show you the axle that came on these SE wheels that came off of my quad angle. Trying to use them on my GT, so I'm gonna have to go to Pork Chop BMX and order one of those axles. I've bought them, several of them from there in the past. It usually takes a little while to come in, so I'm looking at probably a week to get this axle. So this bike probably won't be done for at least a week now. So things like this set you back when you're a bike builder or just trying to customize your bike. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. And when they don't, you're at the mercy of waiting on someone to ship it to you. Luckily, this isn't the only bike I have to ride, but let's show you the axle. So you can see the round axle here needs to go up through that thin groove and then into that larger opening. And in order to do that, it needs to be flat on two sides. And then you need to buy these little spacers that go over the axle into that larger opening. So I'm gonna get online and I'm gonna go to Pork Chop and I'm gonna go ahead and buy those so they can at least start their journey here to California. I believe Pork Chop is in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. So that's about a week every time I buy something for it to get here. But the good news is I got a lot of cool parts on here and it's coming along pretty good. So let me show those off at least and get away from the negative parts of this. So let me show you where we're at with this build. Okay, I got the Amy grips on. And I got the cover, the sticky finger cover over the Tech 77 brake arm. I ran the blue brake line back to the Bulldog brakes where I put the Vans brake pads on. Now I haven't adjusted this or anything and I haven't cut it down yet. It's just temporarily mocked up. Also need to get a freewheel. I can clean up the Sun Tour one I have or wait on the one that I bought. And since I'm waiting anyway for some parts, I'm probably gonna wait on that to come. Seat post little cover, seat post clamp, bottom bracket is in and spindle. So that's in there. So I'll need to put the cranks on. This is a GT plastic cover that goes over this headset. I've had this for years and I never really had a bike to put it on, so I'm gonna throw it on this one. The donuts I'm gonna put on here just as soon as these grips dry. I'll go ahead and take these big monster donuts and slide them on there, but I didn't really want to do anything to that grip until it's nice and solid on the bars. I don't want to mess with that. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wrap this up. This is about as far as I can possibly get until the other parts get here. So the bike behind me is a Mach 1 and I built it with kind of that beach vibe in mind. This is a Huntington Beach, California made bike, so it's got the Huntington Beach pads. I really like the 80s checkered color style. So that's the look I was going for. Blue tires on the way, already ordered the axle, already ordered the spacers. So it's gonna take about a week to get all those parts here and on the bike. Then it'll be finished and I will post it on Instagram. I'm gonna give you one final look at the bike and then tell me what you think. Please, I want your feedback on what you would do differently, if anything, or if you like it the way it is. Couple things I'm on the fence with are the laid back seat post and the accordion plastic sleeve I put on there, which I've had for a really long time. They're popular in the 80s. If you hate it, let me know. I can go either way with it. The good news is, it comes right off if you don't like it. So let's take one last look at the GT Mach 1. All right, there you have it. I hope you guys are enjoying these daily videos and this vlog style video that I did today. It's a little something new, my day-to-day kind of stuff. Lots of running around, lots of working on bikes. So stay tuned if you want more videos, subscribe if you want to see them, hit the bell if you want to get notified when they come out. I usually try to get them live at midnight, so when you wake up, you have a video to watch. So I'm gonna let you go edit this, and tomorrow's a new video. So, as always, stay rad.